Hello there, welcome to another exciting episode of Arise Africa. I am Boy Mark Anthony. Great to be with you guys today, and I hope your week was great because mine was awesome. With me is no other person than the lady, the delectable Lady Chichi.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good
Mark
morning.
Anthony.
Good
You're
to-
looking good. You're looking great.
Thank you. I needed to just.
You didn't tell me you were going to wear this native.
You know-
I would have come with something complimentary.
Okay, don't worry.
you
Next
know?
week we'll try to. We'll try to
All right, welcome. I am so excited to be back again. Yes, it's a new month. So I would say happy new month to you.
Yeah.
And this is the first edition for the month of September, the beginning of the Ember month, like they
Ember
call it. So
season.
I want to ask you, well, how are you preparing for the Ember month? You know what it means? It means there's going to be a lot of bedu, in
Very
quotes,
soon,
a lot
yeah.
of owambe, I tell you, a lot of celebrations. Are you celebrating? Well, I hope you are, because that's what we want. We want to be part of it as well. And so welcome once more. It's going to be pretty exciting today, and we hope you're going to join us through the journey.
Yeah. You know when you just like Bedu now and everything, I'm like, okay, this September, before we knew you are in December, everybody's saying Christmas, party, rice, and all that. So, well, it's going to be good. But then everybody, you have to party safe as well. The COVID, it's still out there.
Yes.
It's still out there. Let's not take
It's for
things
granted. Yes,
honestly.
absolutely.
It's
And that's why
important.
you do have to wear your face mask when it's necessary. And then, of course, remember to observe the safety protocols, you
yeah.
know, just to keep healthy. And don't try to find out, is it real? Is
Real,
it not real?
yeah.
No, it's not for you to find out. We've been told it's real. Medical practitioners have said so. So do the best you can to keep safe.
Awesome. Anyways, let's move over to the newspaper review at the moment. All right.
Absolutely.
So the first paper here is The Guardian for Sunday, The Guardian newspaper for Sunday. And the major header there says NNPC's novel says 287 billion profit. It says raises posers, rekindles hope. Carrie explains factors behind maiden profits, listing on stock exchange, place management subsidiaries on KPI. That's Ledare. Then it says NNPC profits in last 43 years may have been embezzled. Fawibe says. Then stakeholders praise 30% cost reduction, other strategies. And then also in that same paper, you find out there it says legendary Victor Wifo Guitar Boy dies at 80. That story is also in page 1 and it continues in page 2. It continues in page 2. I think that's all we can take.
I think it's worth our attention.
Yeah.
Victor Wifo, the
yeah.
legend. He had several genres of music, and his songs have been remixed many times.
Yeah.
I remember one of the songs is Joromi. I mean, just imagine how many times they've done.
That's what it is.
cover of
And
that
you
song.
know that's the beauty. Evergreen. These guys, that's why they are referred to as legends, because they do evergreen songs, not the kind of songs we hear these days. And the next day, you heard of it, and maybe tomorrow it's no longer in your memory.
Their songs transcend decades. Exactly.
Times. Because me, I didn't even know the person in question while I was growing up, but I just knew the song you get, and then later we find Sir Victor Wifo,
and what I like about this man is his metamorphosis. The guy has so much. Would you believe that he's an inventor, an innovator, as in he made a car many years ago. He made a car.
Wow.
He's a sculptor.
Awesome.
He has a degree in sculpting. In fact, he has is it a museum they call it? Where he showcases, where he showcases the sculpture works of his culture. And you know, I think he was a professor also in a university. Yes, in his university in the state.
Really?
Absolutely.
I have to check it out.
It's a university done,
Wow.
or he was
He
rather,
was.
not is.
Yeah.
Was a university done. The man has is a multi-talented, a man of many signs.
You know when the Bible says some got 5 talents, and this guy has everything, and he probably used everything that he had.
Everything dying empty.
Yeah,
I remember they said he was the one that pioneered the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism.
Wow.
I think altogether in one in his home state. We've really lost
awesome.
a legend, but it's good to live a life that people would celebrate.
Celebrate, exactly,
you know,
and
when you're gone, talk about. And so quickly, we're going to move on to the Punch newspapers for Monday. And it says 21-day notice, strike dangerous now. Federal government begs doctors, NMA ministry disagree. And it says NMA faults federal government as ministry rejects ultimatum. It says citizens live under threat. Ehanire laments. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. I think that's ASU threatens fresh strike, gives federal government Tuesday ultimatum. That story is on the top right-hand corner of the Punch newspaper, and that's not good news for us at all.
Yeah, here we go again. I think students seeing it and like, okay, not again.
Not again.
Not again.
Not again.
It's crazy.
Government implements cooking gas imports tax, price jumps by 100%. That's page 27. This one affects.
Now that is serious. That's serious because we got to get the cooking gas for about 6,000 naira, and it was insane. And then you have students in schools. I get my younger brother was calling me. I was like, my gas is finished and all. I'm like, okay, go get it. And like, it's too expensive. Like, it's too expensive for students to even get by. Not to talk of those of us that are at home.
It means people are going to be looking for alternatives now. But is the alternative cheaper, or are the alternatives cheaper?
They are not.
At the end of the day.
Sadly, they are not. That's why when the NNPC is celebrating profits and all, I still say this, and I said it last week.
How does it impact?
How does it affect the man on the streets? That's what matters. All right, let's move over to Nigerian Tribune for Tuesday, 31st August, and says, where Southern State stands. It says, that's in September 1, anti-open grazing deadline, where Southern State stands. For more of that, you've seen a lot of stuff. Rivers, Bayelsa, Ekiti, Oyo, ready for enforcement on those signs. Bill into law today. That was as at Tuesday. Delta yet to enact law. Uncertainty in Ebonyi, Imo. Edo governor yet to send bill to assembly. Public hearing on bill holds in Enugu. Bill in second reading in Akwa Ibom assembly. Then it says, don't frustrate enforcement, Afenifere tells FG. That's like a very, very bumper story right there. It continues in page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune for Tuesday. And then also there you see conflicting court orders. CJN summons chief judges of Rivers, then Kebbi, Imo, Anambra, and 2 others. That story continues in page 4 as well. And then there's something there underneath the Tribune. It says DSS releases 8 out of 12 associates of Igboho. That's on the Igboho. And it says court rejects AGF's application to vacate restraining order. I think we can just take that.
Okay, we're moving on to Wednesday, and we still have the same story. 11 southern states failed to meet September 1 open grazing ban deadline. That's the major header there. 5 states ignore agreement. 6 in process of ban. Akeredolu signs bill into law. Yes, that story can be found on page 6. And it says COVID-19 got court Obaseki from enforcing compulsory vaccination. DSS grills anti-vaccination protesters. The story is on page 4. That story made the headlines. You know, and there was a protest, and this is what we have now. The court has barred Obaseki. I'm sure you want to read more about that story, which is on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. PDP has not zoned presidency to North. Ex-national legal advisor. Party begins fence mending, meets Wike secondus. All right, so there are more stories we can find out for the Daily Sun for Wednesday.
All right, I'll move over to Thursday. That's This Day newspaper for Thursday. And it says, in surprise move, Buhari rejigs cabinet, fires Agric and Power ministries. Wow, that's a big one. Redeploys 2 others. Abubakar replaces Nanono. Ali replaces Manma. Says change is part of his government's tradition of subjecting projects and programs implementation to independent, critical, the self-review. Says don't use sacked ministers as cover-up for your failures. PDP tells president. That's a big one there. That's a big
I don't want to go into the analysis of that.
Big statement right there. I think, and then at the very top of This Day newspaper, it says, Iekwezu named WHO Assistant DG, heads Global Pandemic Hub, as World Health Body launches disease intelligence preparedness initiative. Governor Uzodinma Mogalu ale appointment. Now that why I wanted us to look at that is the fact that Nigerians are really doing so much in the international scene.
That's good news. Okay, we have Friday, which is today. The Punch newspapers is going to open the review for today. It says rising spending. Federal government's 3-year deficit hits 15.4 trillion naira amid revenue crisis. It says revenue stood at 12.79 trillion, aggregate expenditure 28.14 trillion naira. Reduce high cost of governance, boost taxes. Experts advise federal government, and that story is on page 27 of the Punch newspapers. I think that's all I can take there.
Yeah, all right. Move over to This Day. Okay, it's like I'm just a This Day guy today. Say Masari. It says Nigeria's security forces overstretched, poorly armed. Alleges bandits recruiting more members with as low as 5,000 naira. That's serious. IG hints at recruitment of 20,000 men across country. Police claim rescue of 5 abducted Zamfara students. As 900 more terrorists surrender to troops, says DHQ. Now that's a big one. Then at the very top of This Day newspaper, it says Osibanjo African cross-border trade worth $93 billion. Says AFCFTA is indispensable if industrial development is to take off on the continent.
All right, moving on now to the Daily Sun. It says Masari passes vote of no confidence in IGP. That's Northeast. 5,819 terrorists surrender in 3 weeks. Okay, that's a different story. That's on page 30. But Masari passes vote of no confidence in IGP. Says police boss lacks capacity to secure Katsina. State police now necessity in Wanyang. The story is on page 7 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Enugu Assembly passes anti-grazing bill. Finally, we saw it in the previous, days that it was in the courts, or is in the legislature rather. And that story is on page 3 of the Daily Sun. And now it's been passed into. It's now a bill. It passes the anti-open grazing bill. Federal government must compulsory vaccination for workers. Fuel subsidy continues till 2022. And NPC.
I thought we no longer had first subsidy.
I think that's actually. I think that's basically.
I actually thought
we don't, right? We hear so many.
Okay.
We hear today and tomorrow.
It's so good.
This is how we're going to stop it. We're going to end this part of the program that you're watching right now. And we hope to be back in a few minutes. Make sure you stay tuned for social media buzz.
All right, it's still Arise Africa. In case you're just joining us, okay, you missed the newspaper review, but nevertheless, we just went into the like Chichi like to call it, the virtual street, it's social media buzz. So right now we'll be talking about something interesting that happened. There's a young man, Ignatius Asabo, a young Nigerian drone talent that has just arrived Finland. He was now he's someone that the good thing about it, he makes drones, makes some very awesome stuff by himself, and I think he doesn't really have like a formal education. I think it's just like maybe the secondary school thing. That's what he just did, and somehow he got lucky. I would just say
did
lucky.
You use the word lucky?
Yes, because now he got lucky because now someone has saw him, and that's the radar team. It's a Finland company that is into drones, manufacturing, inventing of stuff like this.
Now, I actually wanted to leave it to those who are going to comment on social media.
Yeah.
But have you not observed that even there's so much, do I say, brain drain in our country? You see people who are so talented, and instead of maybe the government, organizations, look at this company.
Yeah.
They pick this young man without a formal education, without the qualification, all because of what he's done.
Yeah.
Invest in this kind of people in our country.
Yeah.
We won't, and we're complaining, we don't have this, we cannot do this, we know this, because we are responsible for what is happening. There's so many talented people that we can harness their skills to make our country better.
Yeah, we can. And now,
I mean, he had to go to Finland.
Yes. Now,
I mean, not bad.
It's not a bad one. Congratulations to him, though. But everybody has what. Now, when he got there, and he just said that this was my last build. This was my last build before arrival in Finland.
Yes.
It's a 65-inch wingspan trainer plane converted to a crop duster. I don't know the jargons, which can help in the case of farming and dusting crops. You get, so it's not just making.
So that means it flies, drone flies. So it's like the drone will be flying
and then helping to
pull
water. So this is what he's doing this now for farming purpose.
Just imagine if he had done it in Nigeria. Maybe the government had invested or a company had invested, and then they sold it to farmers in Nigeria. Just imagine what. Now somebody else, a company is going to go and patent the whole. I'm sure that's what they call it.
Yes.
Is it patent or patent? I'm not sure of how they pronounce it, but they're going to do it, and then it's going to belong to them. Yeah. They're going to maybe.
It will become a guy for them, an inventor or something, but it's part of their team. Whatever it is, will not really have his name anymore. Sorry to say, but then, anyways, let's go over to what the people are saying on social media. Glenn Van Dat Tobela says the government, Nigerian government, should have given the lad financial support and help him build his own company. Because now they'll take his inventions, patent them, like you just said, and divert credit. We know this from history.
See, you have the triumphant who says it's good. We stay watching. Others take our talented youth out of the continent to strengthen their economies. Every day we stay complaining and pointing fingers. God help African leaders.
All right. It says, and it says that I cannot pronounce this. It said Umianmane. Sorry if I thought your name, but I know it's not Nigerian. It said nothing to celebrate here. He is an inventor who is going to be employed by a company which, while his inventions go to waste. If he was from a different country and probably a different race, he would be starting his own company. This is
Adesanya Bright says, I understand your point, but sincerely, if you ask this young man, he'll probably tell you this is the best thing that ever happened to him. The time is now for Africa youths to start holding their leaders accountable for denying them the future they deserve. Tomorrow is now.
Awesome. That's all from this story, and we just hope that our people do better. Anyways, the next story, because we're out of time already, it says it's from a guy who posted online, and it says its name is Uncle Charles at Aquari Charles. It says, my uncle refused to marry a lady because she has a lot of siblings, while no, say with no dad, and their income level wasn't that great. Sometimes love is not enough. He was just scared of severing too many responsibilities, and I agree with his decision. He is agreeing with his decision. So to you that is watching us right now, do you think it makes a lot of sense? Just head up to YouTube and then put in those comments immediately. Let's know. And then we have a lot of persons that are already saying so much about it. But before we read them, Chichi, what do you think?
So I think we have to start asking the people who want to get involved with. Like, how many sisters do you have? How many brothers? Who is taking care of them? Do you people have parents? What are they doing for a living?
It's not always easy because I feel the pain of the person, the man. I get his points, but still, do you need it to? You ought to have known this before you got to that point, right?
That's why I said that. But all the same, it happens. It's the reality of our country.
All right, let's just go over to the comments. Tito Olayemi says, if you know that you can't marry such lady, do not stress her by coming close to her, not to talk of dating her. A lady who has such responsibility will somehow talk about it immediately you meet her. So always step aside from the beginning, not when the relationship has gone far.
Some sense in what this person said. Kayat's sense said, sometimes it's better to be realistic than to disappoint people. Some family that the parents are seen alive will tell you that they have trained the first girl if she has siblings. Now you, the husband, go send the others to school. Sure, if the man can afford it and wants to, yes, he can. But they are not entitled to it. It's because of, in Nigeria, everyone feels entitled to your stuff, whether close family or extended. But sometimes if you know you can't carry a particular responsibility, it's better you not enter If the girl is the firstborn and she still has lots of unmarried siblings or students, the husband might suffer it. Before relationship starts, some guys now ask questions like, what do your parents do? How many siblings do you have? It's funny, but realistic.
All right. We'll move over to Top Chick Haute Couture. Says, let everyone cut their coats according to their sizes. That's all I can say. It's just unfortunate that over here, when a man marries a woman, all her siblings, except the sensible ones, feels their in-law is owing all of them something. Some women, on the other hand, would try to talk their husband into carrying a family loads. That's pressure because he's got a family too. So if you start from ordinary relationship to ask him to help this and that, they say, Abba, he will start thinking deep into the future, and that would be discouraging to him. He can jackpot. So I think you just take the last one.
Queen Mickey says, was he not aware of this, those information after I got close to her? Why the continuity to the extent of thinking of marriage? Asking for a friend, though. Very interesting.
I think that's all we can just
We wish we could go on and on and on. There's so much to say on the virtual street when Nigerians are thinking, what they're saying, what they're talking about, what they are, what's they're paying attention to. But we're going to move on now to what we call the core of the matter, the crux of the matter, where we talk about the, a subject matter that's close to our hearts and your heart as well as Nigerians. So make sure you stay close to yourself. Do not go far away.
address the storms of your life. Peace, be still.
Whatsoever is dead in your life tonight, God will revive it.
I said to the spirit behind it, enough is enough.
Experience the raw power of God, the hour of deliverance with Papa Ayo and Mama Helen Nourish Jaffor, showing every day at these times on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
We must go back to the fundamentals and the basics and start to teach people hard work.
You could prepare something like this for your family as well.
So now that I've learned the process, let me enjoy the process.
If you are not at the table taking decision, then you will be the menu on the table.
One of the ways you can actually see opportunities when you begin to see problems.
Arise Africa, showing live Fridays 10 a.m. with repeat broadcast on Saturdays 9 a.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network.
The Azerbaijan imports into Man City have signed a new contract extension with the club, making prediction Chelsea and United. It's Arsenal this weekend and Liverpool.
Zinedine Zidane knows that this is not the best time to talk about Salah. Liverpool have a very important game to play against Real Madrid.
Let him go to Barcelona.
I repeat, Mourinho will never accept.
Now you have so many attacking players in that team.
ABN Sports, showing live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
I am really excited today. You know what? Because Mama helping you. I'm telling you.
We love people hugging us. So this helps the body to feel safe.
We are all leaders in our own right. Who says you can't even find someone who will love you better?
Makes you focus, drives you. It shows you an agenda.
That's right. Awesome.
Mama Helen and You with Dr. Helen Nourish Jaffor, showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
Welcome back to Arise Africa. We've come to the segment we call the core of the matter, where we talk about issues affecting you and me. And today we're talking money. Very important. We're talking about the importance of financial planning. Yes, we make money, we spend money. How do we spend it? When do we spend it? What is the ultimate goal of our money? So these and more we're going to be talking about on the show today. And with us to really dissect this matter, why you need to plan your finance, is Mr. Theophilus Uwoma, and he is a businessman and also a social commentator. It's good to have you on the show today.
My pleasure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Now, being a businessman, you know, you are someone that probably go a lot of handling of finances, money, and all this kind of stuff, and then it requires such skill, high level, for you to actually be as well successful in business. But before we come into that, okay, we want our viewers to know what financial planning actually is.
Okay. Yeah. Financial planning, those rudiments, those basics that you need while trying to organize your business, those long-term plan that helps you to achieve a certain goals and objectives. Okay. It's not just about the big players alone. It's something that cuts across the social strata of life. Okay. Both salary earners, small and medium businesses, because every human being that is into business, you need to plan. You need to project. You need to tell yourself XYZ at this certain point in time. This is where you ought to be. You know, there's that is, it gives you the opportunity to evaluate if you're actually doing well or not. Okay. The risk involved in what you're doing, how to cushion the effect of that risk, possibly what you need to do, sometimes insurance cover that could protect you and your family or more so giving you that opportunity to thrive.
Okay.
Awesome.
You mentioned that you mentioned right now with respect to business.
Yeah.
Doesn't financial planning cut across both your household, family finance, and some other financial aspects of life?
It's all inclusive.
Okay.
Because basically, life is all about money, finance. You can't live in isolation. For you to exist as a human being, you need the element of money, and that's where finance comes in.
Yeah.
As a salary earner, you need to plan, and without money, you can't achieve anything. You can't run your home effectively. You can't send your children to schools. You can't do the nitty-gritty of things you ought to do. Even the Bible acknowledges that a man that cannot provide for his family is worse than an infidel. It tells you that money is the critical element of human existence.
Yeah.
So I know you already mentioned some of the importance of financial planning. So could you tell us more about the importance?
Why it's important.
Yeah, why it's so important.
Why it's important? It helps you to avoid pitfalls.
Okay.
You know, it helps you to kind of plan. We are a society that is a faith-based society, and that tends to make us leave things in vague. We expect that, oh, as long as God is there, anything is possible. People don't take that time to really do the critical, analytical projections. You know, ask yourself, okay, I'm expecting XYZ. When XYZ comes in, what do I do? How do I manage it? And the most unfortunate part of it is that we are in a very unstable society where that things are not, it's an unusual environment. There are certain environments that you can have your projection for 20 years. It's still the same. But here it's up and down. So people need to take that time to actually go overboard, to think, you know, source information. At times it doesn't cost anything to seek a professional advice. You want to marry today, you look for an event planner. So why is it that you will not look for somebody that will kind of guide you, give you that information that could take you to the next level? It's not necessarily meaning that you need to get a financial advisor. You could seek help from successful businessmen, people that have, you know, succeeded in life, people that have made it in life. They'll give you one or two counsel, and there are quality books.
And I don't know, the internet is also a source where the
internet is available for you these days, that you can Google, search informations, and you're home and dry.
Wow.
Awesome.
Interesting.
All right. Now, sir. You know, most of the time people understand these things. Some of them know that, okay, but then they know that they are supposed to plan. But then they need to know what are the benefits you get that is derived from this, from actually critically taking this into consideration. So I want to. It's key. It's key. Key in the sense that a friend once sent me a message early this January that we're in another phase of a decade. And that was for the first time in my life that struck me. That all this while I've been entering a decade without putting it into consideration.
True.
You know? So those things have a way of kind of igniting something in you, opening your eyes in areas you need to see. It's like a couple that just got married and you're starting a new life. I think at that point in time, that is when it is easier for you to begin to plan for shelter. Because shelter is one critical aspect of life that if you achieve, it takes a lot of burden off your shoulder.
Okay.
Why do you plan at that point in time? You plan at that point in time because you have lesser expenditures. The children have not started coming. School fees is not there, you know?
Yeah.
So it is easier for you to run. But when you have all these baggages around your neck, it slows you down. You know, you're thinking of my child is going to the university, this was in secondary school, and you're building at the same time. It's not easy. I just want to use that to at least reach out to the common people for you to get to know where I'm going to. So by the time you look at these things, financial planning helps you to evaluate. It helps you to plan. It helps you to look at your inflow. It helps you to look at your expenditure. It helps you to cut costs where it is necessary. And it helps you to kind of create a level of security around your business empire, even your financial empire. You're working and you're getting XYZ. You should be able to say, okay, at the end of the month, I should be able to set aside this. I should invest this way. I should use this for this purpose. I should cut down on this area. You know, but sometimes people will tell you, I don't have enough. Why will I now begin to think of how to save? Fine. You could understand that maybe your salary is a partial sum of money, but in that partial sum of money, you could still make something out of it. There are certain luxuries that we'll get into that is actually a pitfall that sets us back. You know, financial planning helps you to kind of ask yourself, where do I want to be in the next 10 years? Where do I intend to be in the next 10 years? How do I achieve that? How do I get to that point? Do I run at this pace or not? We are complaining about Nigeria not moving forward. One basic problem that we have as a society is that we've chosen to run at the same pace all together. If we have allowed every aspect of our national life to run at its own pace, you will find out that we would have achieved greater results. Because God has created us differently, with different ability, different psyche, different strengths.
Okay, I'm going to have to come in here. You know, the reason I know, like you mentioned, a lot of people don't make financial plans. I want us to, because one of the aims of this program is to encourage people to make financial plans. So let's look at some of the excuses people give, or some of the reasons they give for not making financial plans. I know you mentioned one, my salary is too small. What are some orders, and how should they handle those things?
Okay, basically, it has to do with your the quantum of your income. That is because psychologically, that's what plays out. How much am I making? Okay, if I make XYZ, do I need to save out of it? You know, the fear of, okay, if I save out of it, what becomes of this area? This area there will be shortcome. And we practice this kind of family life. You know, it's not a nuclear kind of family setting. It's an extended family setting that you find out, oh, pressures are coming from right, left, right, and corner. Somebody somewhere is saying, uncle, you know this and that. Those are practically things that makes people at times to...
But that's a legitimate reason. So how do you handle that?
Sometimes we need to kind of sacrifice.
Or get another source of income.
You need to take,
which is not easy.
You need to take that bull by the horn by doing the necessary things. In taking decision, the first question you need to ask yourself, how effective is this decision? This expenditure that you are about to embark on, is it necessary? What importance is this venture? Will it yield dividends or not? Like looking for alternative means of income helps. But in looking for alternative means of income, you still need to understudy so that you don't create room for exploitations. So we need to kind of spread our tentacles, maybe 1 or 2 areas, so that you have an added support to the prevailing income you're having. At least build a higher level of financial ground.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. So now, one question I want to ask is, how do people actually take these steps? You know, they know that they are supposed to do this. They know that. How do they now take the financial planning that works for them? Because, for example, what might work for you might not be the same for me exactly. So how do they now put all these things together? So at least, probably this might be working in business, but it might not be working in the home. So how do they balance?
That's the dynamic of life.
Okay.
Nature is dynamic on its own. You know, there's always a paradigm shift. You're unique in your own self. I am unique in my own self. The only thing is, what works for you may not work for me.
True.
But by the special grace of God and with that genuine search, because when we talk about financial planning, it has to do with, you need to search yourself. You need to be frank with yourself. You need to be sincere with your prudent with your expenditures. Okay. So that you need to save money to dabble into other areas.
Okay, income versus expenditure versus investment.
Investment, it helps. Okay. Though these days we'll be having this back and flow of things. Certain businesses are crumbling. You invest, and before you know it, there is one issue or the other, and the people tell you, "Oh, this business has crumbled." And there are a lot of business proposals out there that looks fantastic by sight, but it beats my imagination when somebody tells me, "Give me those proposals." With my way, at least I've been in business for over 30 years, and I begin to ask myself, how is it possible that I'm giving you XYZ, and I'm making multiple in turnover on it? You find that some of these things they don't appear. They're not
sustainable.
Yeah, they're not sustainable. The way they appear is not real. So it's an individual take. You should be a risk taker. But when taking that risk, let it be a calculative risk.
Okay.
You know, what is available for you may not be available for Mr. A. Life is innovation. You need to be innovative. You need to be creative. Okay. That makes you your unique self. You need to deep down inside you get to find out that which makes you tick, that which makes you who you are. Because there is the physical body you see it's like a cloth we are putting on. There is that spirit man that is in you that gives you that leverage, that speaks to you, that will tell you this path, go through this path. It could be viable for you.
Okay. Do we have something like an what do you call it? Income tracker, or do we have something like do we have any kind of, do I call it an app or something that can help us with
track your
to help us with
and all that.
Yes, spreadsheet or something you'd want to suggest to people on how you can that can suggest to you or you can learn from on how to handle your income.
I said initially that we are a faith-based environment. Basically, we are the product of our environment.
Okay.
Because of the kind of environment we are, we've kind of left so many things to faith.
Okay.
You know, we don't apply professionalism in what we do. It's like today, somebody is trying to look for something and it comes to you, bro, do you have information about this? And you give it to the person. The person feels this is right. But they don't know if information is big money elsewhere in other clients.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know? So the challenge we have as a person is that we need to begin to reorientate ourselves and our mind and begin to tell ourselves, look, I need to study this. I need to work out
Many people have told us the percentage that we should save. What do you think?
The percentage is relative. Relative in the sense there is no cut cross. What I make is different from what you make.
Yeah.
I'm different from what you make.
Yeah.
Based on what you make, that determines what you need to
Like
do.
some will suggest 10% every month.
Every month.
Because they tell you that the higher you go, the more money your expenditure would increase.
Yeah.
You know? So they would say, okay, at least keep 10% every month. You know, by the time it gets to a year, 2 years, and all that. Do you have any kind of advice in that aspect?
For me, I think 10 is ideal, but I will subscribe to 20.
20.
Okay.
20, because that comes with deprivation. That means you need to deprive yourself certain luxuries, because there are certain things we do that ordinarily are not necessary. You know, a young man wants to marry a wife today, and they kind of roll out the drums, spend so much, want the wedding to be the talk of town, pumping so much pageantry into it. And that event is just an event of one day. But the marriage is a lifetime investment.
And maybe he doesn't even have other savings in his account. He has used almost everything.
You said the marriage is a lifetime investment. Why the wedding is a day activity? It ends, everybody goes home. And you go home and you begin to look at the ceiling. I could remember an incident those days in Lagos in the 90s, early 90s, when somebody was telling me that this guy just married and is owing 150,000 naira debt. Do you know what 150,000 is in the 90s? That's a lot of money. And I asked my guy, I said, that is the height of madness. That person has stepped into marriage with debt. So how will he plan effectively well? Sometimes you find out that they just got married and the marriage just broke up. These are necessary ingredients that helps to make you go further and far in life.
Right.
As the money comes in, apportion them properly.
All right, finally, one question I want to ask is, and I know some persons are there now, they're saying, okay, when is the right time? For some persons, they will say, oh, it's usually January, start to save from the beginning. And then some persons will say, I don't even have a plan. So when is the right time to actually make these financial plans? And then how often should we make it? Should we just say, okay, I've saved this year, no need to save next year or something? Is there, what will you give?
I think the major thing here is you having that understanding that you need to start from onset. Let me use the analogy of you give birth to a child. There is a time for the child to crawl, to walk and run. You know, you must start from the beginning. You must start from the beginning. From the onset of that business, you need to start from that onset. You need to plan. You need to write down. You need to approximate, you know. And it's something that you do periodically. It's not one-off.
Okay.
It's a constant thing you do. It's something that you kind of maybe yearly you review. By the time you review it, you look at the overall performance. You see the weak link, you see your strong link, where you need to improve, where you need to work on. So it's a continuous process.
So we know it's not mean feat. I mean, you've been in business for 30 years. I mean, some people do not even survive like half of how much you survived. Yes. So I'm sure you'll be giving your last words, your advice, like on the basis of what you know and what you like to tell people about financial planning, which obviously must have helped in your business.
I think basically the most important thing is God.
Okay.
You know, prayerfully committing your ways into the hands of God, seeking the face of God in all that you do. Because we are in a very unfriendly society. The government policies are not friendly at all. There are a lot of policies that are anti-business in this environment of ours, you know. So all you need to do, make sure you put good use to any resources that come your way.
Okay.
Because resources are very, very scarce. Don't filter them away and expect that some will still come. because that is one of the general melees of our society.
So in other words, make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah. Definitely.
So much I know you want to say.
But, exactly. The time is never enough. We're out of time, but we're not out of words. Like we always say. All right, that's all we can take for the show. We want to thank Mr. Theophilus Uwoma.
My pleasure.
Good to have you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you. We hope to get you around.
Thank you.
Next time.
The pleasure is mine.
Next time, we would love to have you next time, probably for another topic anyways, maybe how to sustain your business for 30 years.
Yes, that's
honestly, that would work.
That's wonderful.
All right, and anyways, just know that Arise Africa is open for sponsorship, and let's do it next time. We are open for sponsorship. I say that again. Please, you can sponsor us in maybe cash or something. Just write us. We'll be ready. All right, I'm Boye Mark Anthony, and from the lady Chichi.
I am Chichi Nwabo. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll be back again same time next week, and we hope we meet you well then. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
The Belgian imports into Man City have signed a new contract extension with the club, making prediction Chelsea and United. It's Arsenal this weekend and Liverpool.
Zinedine Zidane knows that this is not the best time to talk about Salah. Liverpool have a very important game to play against Real Madrid.
Let him go to Barcelona.
I repeat, Mourinho will never accept.
Now you have so many attacking players in that team.
ABN Sports, showing live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
I am really excited today. You know what? Because Mama helping you. I'm telling you.
We love people hugging us. So this helps the body to feel safe.
We are all leaders in our own right.
Who says you can't even find someone who will love you better?
Makes you focus, drives you. It shows you an agenda.
That's right. Awesome.
Mama Helen and You with Dr. Helen Jaffor, showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.